Welcome to the 61st episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast. So damn paranormal.
So damn 2:30 in the goddamn morning.
2:34.
My name is Jason Knight, host of the show. And with me tonight is Oscar Spector, producer extraordinaire. Take a deep breath.
Hey, what's up, bitches? Who wasn't here?
Also joining us this evening is Lexi Graveyard.
Fuck. Lexi Graveyard, that's fine.
Okay.
That's her name.
Hello.
That's your surname, Graveyard. How about Raven?
Lexi
I like
Raven.
that. Yeah.
That's nice.
Oscar, edit it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Supernatural
Lexi Raven. That's what you are.
Occurrence
You have to
Studies
dye your hair
podcast.
black and start being all goth and shit.
And
though.
joining us this
Take me back to
evening
middle
is
school.
Miss Lexi Raven.
Hello.
That's not the real intro, you know that. You have to redo
I
it
know,
again.
we're
Okay.
having fun.
Okay,
We're having
Like,
fun.
It's a good intro.
Yeah, it's
We're
fun.
doing a good intro.
It's fun.
So no.
And, of course, my partner in crime, co-host, co-founder of Supernatural Occurrence Studies, Mr. Dave Black.
BFFs. 20 years. 20 years we've been doing this shit.
20, yeah, listeners who checked out episode 60, you did a great job with that episode, Dave,
you.
corralling the troops and heading out to Robinson Woods.
This month, February of 2018, is exactly 20 years to the month that we started Supernatural Occurrence Studies. It essentially started on the 29th of January of 1998 when we got that first picture at Robinson Woods, and then we kept going back. I remember we were out almost every night of the week. We were
Every
at
night.
Bachelor's Grove. We were
Every
at
night.
Robinson Woods getting all these pictures and stuff, and that was really the month that kind of solidified what Supernatural Occurrence Studies is to this day.
That's right. Yeah.
You get very, melancholic there at the end of the show.
Yeah, I tried to. I did want to say my piece.
It's the first
to-
time I've ever
to-
seen you give a shit, honestly.
Yeah, it was good.
Like, yeah.
I wanted to give my my thoughts to Alexander Robinson, Chi Chi Ping-Kwei, and let him know how he impacted my life.
Right.
No, it was good. It was emotional. It was heartfelt. It was well put together. You paid homage to the Peterson Schuessler boys.
Yeah.
So you did a bang up job on episode 60. Listeners, if you haven't heard
And of
episode
course,
60 yet,
thank you to my friend Mike for coming along.
yeah, Mike Gray. Listeners,
And, Joe, of course. Joe was there.
Joe was there. Joe Erie was there. He's not here tonight, but he was there in episode 60, so that's great. Listeners, if you haven't checked out episode 60, 20 years ago today, the title.
Oh, you kept my title?
I did keep your title.
Finally.
Yes. Be sure to go to iTunes and listen to episode 60. So, I've been promising to do something for a long time that I haven't done yet, and that's give shout out to the people who leave us reviews on either iTunes or Facebook.
Word.
So, I'd like to do that now. Do you guys mind?
Let's do it.
I mean,
we don't have tons,
If we
so-
say we do mind, what would you say?
I'd say tough.
Okay, well then.
So
no matter what
one thing I promise is that people leave us feedback on Facebook. I'll read it on the show. If people leave us feedback on iTunes, where it really counts, Facebook is awesome. I appreciate it, but iTunes is where it counts. If you leave us reviews on iTunes and let us know you did so, we'll send you something cool. So before we jump into today's topics, yes.
I would go so far as to say that, and this is without consulting anyone else in the group, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, that if you leave us a review
On iTunes.
on iTunes or on Facebook or any of the other platforms that we are on, we would be happy to mention you on the podcast, not only by name, but we will plug, if you have your own podcast, if
Plug
you
you.
have a company, a website, a Tumblr page, anything like that you'd like us to plug on the show, we'll happily do that for you.
Absolutely. I agree. So without further ado, Facebook. We have some good reviews on Facebook. Rebecca Codner, appreciate the 5-star rating, and she said, just found this podcast, started with episode 1, and so far I'm enjoying it. I'm now on episode 6.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This was from
There's
late
one really
January.
bad one coming up.
Just 6 episodes? Come on.
This is from late January, so hopefully she's been pushing on through the episodes. Rebecca, I hope you like it. Thank you for the 5-star review.
She should binge listen for 24 hours straight.
Agreed. Thomas Booth. Thomas, I think I know who you are. Gave us a 5-star rating and said, great podcast. Very well produced. The hosts are top-notch. Great chemistry. 5 stars from the UK.
We're going to call him Tommy Boof from now on.
I think Thomas is from
Tommy Boof.
Robots for Eyes podcast that we mentioned quite a few episodes ago. So thank you, Thomas. Of course,
Tommy Boof.
Tommy Boof from Robots for Eyes podcast. Listeners, check out Robots for Eyes. It's a podcast I listen to regularly.
Now, does that mean you have robot eyes or like tiny robots as your eyes?
I would say tiny robots as your eyes.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, I mentioned these guys. They're the ones who remind me like my favorite Beatles are telling me crazy, fucked up stories. It's really good. It's a good show. My mom gave us 5 stars. Thanks, Ma. Facebook.
She couldn't do better than that? What was your mom's review? What did she say?
She just left 5 stars.
Your mom couldn't say anything
She
nice?
Didn't say anything nice. She just left 5 stars.
It's kind of lame.
Give her a thanks.
Thanks, Mom, for being lazy. I guess.
Also on Facebook, Joseph Vincent Gauvin gave us 5-star review. And Sal Donacrecia, this is Minister Sal. He's guest starred on quite a few episodes. He also left us 5-star review, so thank you very much, sir. As for iTunes, we're starting fresh. I fucked up when I did changes to the podcast and we lost all our old ratings. But so far we have 8 ratings on iTunes, straight solid 5-star rating. A couple of my favorites on iTunes. Whoever the user, Bougie Booby Boo from December 2017. Regular listener to this show, love it. Sound could be iffy sometimes, but then again, the hosts take you into actual haunted locations, so I understand that audio cannot be perfect at all time. Great topics, funny hosts, good quality. I anticipate each show. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Bougie Booby Boo, whoever you are. Notre Dame Freak 96. Awesome show, guys. 5 stars. Appreciate it. Thank you. And probably my personal favorite by Michelle Nicole from Christmas 2017, December 25th. If you're looking for a terrifying yet fun-filled experience that leaves you feeling dirty yet satisfied at the end of a long, sweaty day, subscribe to this podcast. So, and Vince957. Vince957, 5 stars. Been listening since episode 10-ish. Great podcast, great guys that deliver chills and laughs all at the same time.
Now, has he listened to 1 through 10, or did he just start at 10 and go from there?
It seems like he started at 10.
You should probably listen to 1 through 9. It's like prequels to what you've heard.
Absolutely. So if any one of you guys...
It's actually very common for people who listen to a lot of podcasts to skip the first few because they're the clunkiest.
They are. And ours were pretty clunky. But, that first episode talks about where we all come from, why we got into this.
Yeah. So
it's a good show.
I lied about my entire background there, I remember. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So anyone who's...
We share egg salad recipes.
We do. We throw mayonnaise at each other and get naked. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyone review that we read off of iTunes, if you could contact us and let us know that was you leaving the review, we will be sure to send you something yummy. Don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I've been promising to do that, so got it done. Dave mentioned, this is the month where 20 years ago we formed Supernatural Occurrence Studies. One thing we always prided ourselves with here at Supernatural Occurrence Studies is we kind of do our own thing. We don't click around. We don't follow other people's theories or ideas. We go out and do our own thing. Always have, always will. On that note, Dave Black came up with a new science.
Yeah, it was.
Tell us about that, because this is really amazing.
So this is actually something I started working on earlier today. I wrote all this today.
Wow.
Well, yesterday technically. But we were talking about what we were going to be talking about on the episode tonight, and I thought to myself, we've been talking about this for a while, about what kinds of energy we run into, what kinds of haunting, whether the sources of hauntings and stuff. So I actually today put together what me and Jay basically, after I got here and had like the outline written, we kind of figured this all out and put it together as a legitimate scientific outline for describing a haunting. So we're actually calling this our SOS haunting taxonomy. So first and foremost are the haunting domains. We're going off of the genus, phylum, domain, kingdom that you use for scientific explanation of animals, plants, etc. So there are two main forms of energies that create a haunting, and possibly a third. So I'm going to describe those. These are the haunting domains. So communis is arguably the most common type of haunting. Communis, or collective energy, is often experienced in normally crowded places such as movie theaters, bars, nightclubs, churches, funeral homes, and the like. Now, this is an energy that most people have probably experienced in their life and are familiar with. Communis energy is essentially derived mostly from living human beings experiencing boisterous or emotional activity in an enclosed space. So if you're in a place like a movie theater or a bar, during the day or when they're not, when there's no one else there, you can kind of feel that energy, that buzz, that crackle that room has, that you can feel like, you can walk into a place. If you're a musician or a comedian or whatever, you can walk into a room and be like, this place has, a life of its own. You can feel the energy in it. And what you're feeling is communist energy. You're feeling a collective energy of many living people that imprints onto a physical location. So it's what most people would refer to as a place having a buzz to it. And I think everyone in some sense or another has felt that.
I definitely have.
You can walk into a church. You can walk into any old place and you can just kind of feel, you feel it. You can feel it's different. There's something there. There's personality to the place. So literally just describing it as a place having a certain energy to it, a buzz to it, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about a communis energy. Communis, of course, Latin for collective. Next is mortem. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It's another very common energy associated with hauntings, the most obvious. The energy left behind after a person or persons die. This type of energy can be experienced almost anywhere a person has died. Traumatic deaths by accident, murder, or fire always seem to have greater strength and presence than those caused by more natural deaths, such as a heart attack or cancer. Generally speaking, relatively few deaths will create a measurable haunting. Plenty of places where people have died that aren't haunted, and there's plenty of places that people die that are haunted. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. We've discussed it before, that there's a certain combination of elements that we're not sure of what that is exactly that needs to be present for a haunting to kind of stick, if you will. Much like us, I've described this as a habitat, if you will. Much like if you're going to find a specific species of animal, it has to be in a certain specific habitat that has the right plants, the right trees, the right water, etc., to sustain that species. So mortem energy is the energy left over from a person or people that have died, the most commonly thought of thing to explain a ghost. There's a third variety of energy that's entirely hypothetical. We have no proof as to whether or not this exists, but this is what I call vitaforme industria, or living energy. An entirely hypothetical energy is that of a living being that has no physical, biological form and is entirely energy or chemical based. Theorized to exist in some dimensions or perhaps other parts of our own universe by great minds such as Neil deGrasse Tyson and Stephen Hawking, it is entirely possible that such an inorganic life forms exist in our realm. A phenomenon often described as rods or orbs in photographs or video might be evidence of these types of energies, which may also be the origin of mythology of things like fairies and even angels. Once again, this one's entirely hypothetical. We can't say whether or not we've ever come in contact with it, but the communis and mortem energy, we've definitely can 100% say exist and are out there, and we've run into them before.
Absolutely. True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So next up is the haunting classes. So this is the specific types of entities or energies, if you will, that you'll run into. And they're going to be either one of those two types. They're going to be communis or mortem. Sometimes it can be a combination of both, depending on where you're at. But in general, each individual energy you interact with is going to be one or the other. So, first up, there are different forms of energy that inhabit a haunted place that all behave and react differently to their surroundings and visitors, essentially a ghost field guide. Think of it that way. So ambientum or ambient energy. This is the most common type of haunting encountered, often associated with communis energies. This is the type of haunting that seems to envelop an entire building or space, giving the whole area an equivalent feeling of presence. A static buzz throughout, if you will, that can be felt by those that are sensitive immediately upon arrival and throughout the entire property. Often associated with these types of hauntings are audible activity, such as footsteps, commotion, voices, clinking glasses, and the like, and occasionally peripheral shadows and forms. This is one of the most common types of energy that you're going to run into and that most people have had some sort of interaction or experience with. It's basically more in depth of that feeling of buzz or energy of a place, a little bit further beyond that of you can actually feel a physical presence around you or feel that there's someone else there with you when you're in the place. And almost always that's the result of communis energy. Vestibulum, and also known as static, that's the Latin word for static, is more of a symptom of a haunting, not necessarily its own entity or energy, but it's a static, typically mortem type of energy that holds in one specific place and is constantly present. Sometimes referred to as a vortex in the paranormal field. It's an energy field that can be felt in certain spots or create walls or spikes of energy throughout a place, even throughout multiple floors. Often associated with buildings and homes, it can often be attributed to being the exact spot someone died in, or in rare cases, a traumatic but non-fatal event occurred, like a knife fight, or somebody had a heart attack there but didn't die, or there was a fire or something to that, leaving an impression on the physical space. There's no specific phenomenon associated with vestibulum aside from its constant presence that can be felt and the fact that pets will seem to avoid it. But this is, generally speaking, one of the symptoms of a different type of haunting. So whether it's a communis haunting or a mortem haunting, there can be this one physical kind of central spot of the haunting that you can feel, in that one spot. So, for instance, if there was a bed in the corner of a room that grandma died on of cancer, you might be able to feel that in that spot forever. It might just always be there. We've experienced this at Morseland Music Room, which was one of our first haunted locations. There was that weird spot in the hallway, which we later found out was the exact spot over which a human torso was found.
Way down in the basement that extended straight up to the entire building.
Yeah. So that's... it might eventually need to be moved into its own category, but it's relevant because it is involved with the haunting energies that we feel. But it doesn't seem to be anything other than kind of a central hub or base of the energy. It doesn't really seem to have a mind of its own, if you will. It doesn't seem to be, it's not like it's following you around or anything like that. Decipula, which means caged. In Latin. This is another fairly common type of haunting, often associated with mortem energies, and is in the variety most commonly found in homes or areas where murder or accident victims have been found. A decipula energy is generally confined to one room or a small radius within an area it seems to be confined to, but can be very active and boisterous in that space. It can be felt in that one small area and can bounce around or follow you throughout a room, but rarely travels or moves outside of it. Often associated with a room or place person has passed away, these types of hauntings come audible and visual hallucinations, children or pets interacting or reacting to it, and strange visions or dreams. This is probably one of the most common energies you're going to run into in a haunted house, for instance. When people describe a phenomenon that they're having in their haunted home, it's usually this type of decipula type of energy. For instance, Robinson Woods is definitely a decipula type of energy. Bachelor's Grove is definitely a decipula type of energy, where it seems to have a border that it can't cross. Like it'll only, you can walk up to a certain spot and feel it, walk beyond that spot and it'll follow you around, and if you keep on walking, eventually it'll stop following you. So there's like a seemingly radial spot that it can't leave. And finally is mobili. This is, or obviously mobile. This is a somewhat rare type of energy that can be attributed to any type of haunting, but is most often of the mortem variety. This is an energy that is not only extremely omnipresent, seemingly conscious and active, but it can come and go as it pleases and is often highly attracted to certain personality types. Sort of a stray dog energy, if you will, that can follow an individual or individuals well beyond the boundaries of its origin, and in extremely rare cases can attach itself to certain people and even follow them home. I've actually done experiments with this type of energy and have been successful with actually moving it from one place to another. Essentially, this is the type of energy that can be responsible for a possession, if you will, or at least the closest thing to a possession you can get outside of a Hollywood movie. Typically, any haunting phenomenon can be attributed to a mobile energy and can often linger well after contact with it. This is something like if you see in movies all the time where people have some sort of traumatic event or they run into a ghost or whatever, and then for days they're having like these visions and jump scares, like all those things that happen. And this is kind of where that comes from. A mobile energy can attach itself to you and kind of implant itself on you, even if it's not physically still with you. It can still linger with you for hours or days later. You can see things, hear things, feel things, feel like you're being watched or followed are not uncommon after having, interaction with a mobile energy. So, conclusion, these are just essentially the basics broken down, but there are many other levels in between, and blending and blurring the lines in between types and sources of energy. For instance, any haunted place can have both communis and mortem energies, because as we've spoken about in the past, it seems if a place is haunted, there's something about that place that's drawing the energies in, and if there's anything within a certain distance of that place, it's going to attract it. So there can be communis energies, and in fact communis energies might be the catalyst to attract mortem energies or create mortem energies if a death happens in a building that's already got communis energy in it, etc. So this guide is essentially just a way to describe individual energies and hauntings encountered. But the cool thing that me and Jay kind of figured out here is that we can actually create a different species or kind of name the species of haunting that we're working with in individual locations. Now keep in mind this is something that we literally came up with today. So we can probably break all of these down into further subcategories eventually. But right now it's basically like we have a species, or I guess it would be a phylum in a species, or a family in a species. So if you think about it this way, give me any haunted place that we've been to. Just name one other than Robinson Woods.
St. Valentine's Day Massacre Site.
Okay, St. Valentine's Day Massacre Site. We've been there many times, and we can honestly say that there is definitely something there. We do have photographs, and we can feel it. We've heard stories of dogs freaking out in certain spots.
Correct.
We do have actually... I don't know if I've personally experienced there, but there's, audible and sensory type of hallucinations that people experience there. So there is kind of an element of vestibulum there, which is the vortex, if you will, or the certain spot that you can kind of feel things happening on. But in general, when you go to St. Valentine's Day Massacre Site, if you do feel something, it's only going to be from the parking lot to the sidewalk to the wall to the fence. It's only within maybe, 500 square foot area.
Yeah.
So it is 100% for sure a mortem energy, because it came from the death of 7 people that died there on February 14th of 1929 in a shooting rampage. And we can definitely say it is a decipula energy. That is the cage energy that will not leave the spot, but it also has an element of vestibulum. So we can say without a doubt that this energy is a mortem decipula type of entity. So we're dealing with a mortem decipula with some vestibulum properties. So essentially,
it's amazing.
So it's a mutt.
If you were to write it out on paper, it would be a mortem decipula variant vestibulum. So give me another haunting.
Well, let's do the Morseland.
Morseland. Okay.
Morseland Music Room.
Morseland, we know, came from not only obviously mortem energy, because we know somebody had died there, but there's also communis energy there. So we have both mortem and communis energy there. And we know that one is also a decipula energy. It's able to come outside into the parking lot, and it's able to bounce around inside the place, but it still seems to have a very specific frame that it stays within. So we will say that is a communis mortem decipula energy. Give me another one.
And that, folks, is why Dave Black is the theorist for supernatural occurrence studies. That's really incredible, man.
Give me one more.
One more. Oscar, you got one? He said no. You choose one, Dave.
I can't think of one right now.
O'Hare Flight 191 crash site. We
Okay.
We investigated that on this show.
Now, we were never able to get to the actual spot, but as we know, the O'Hare 191, from the stories that we've heard, is definitely a mortem energy. No doubt about it. There's no communis about it. It's 100% mortem energy that came from... How many people died there?
Oh, I'd have to...
How many people died?
I'd have to look it up. I don't remember.
It was like, what, 70 or more than that?
Yeah, I would have to look back through the old show notes, but a lot.
So the mortem energy is definitely what is there. And we have, once again, this is a decipula energy for all intents and purposes. That's what we know, because we've never actually had direct contact with it other than walking up and kind of feeling it. So this is a mortem decipula energy.
258 passengers.
258? That's
Yep.
a lot.
1979, 258 passengers.
So that would be a mortem decipula for what we personally know about it, although there might be some other... it might have a mobili there, but I haven't experienced it yet. So we have a new way of classifying hauntings, and we're going to put this up on the website so
This will be
can
up.
kind of
Yep.
see it. If you have any suggestions on how to make it more concise or add to it, please feel free. I'm surprised I got through all of that without stuttering.
You did really good.
And then please feel free.
This is a new science. This is legit a new science.
Mm-hmm. I think we're on to something here, boys. Although now we have to find a vitiforme industria that's mobili.
Well,
So some sort of weird alien energy life form that follows us around.
whatever was hitting my leg on Wednesday night, I don't know what that was. Joe Erie would say that was probably an alien at the side of my bed.
You know, we have to probably come up with a type of haunting that is created by humans, living humans. There is some element to the idea that you can actually create your own haunting, kind of like a poltergeist sort of thing.
Right. Well,
That might be something we have to add here as well.
I'll let you know in a few years when my daughter gets a little bit older.
Yeah.
When she hits that 12, 13 mark.
It's going to be fun.
Well, do you think for tonight's episode, I'm not going to say what it is yet, but do you think with tonight's episode we could possibly try to classify, domain class, the hauntings we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I think so. That's kind of why I came up with this, is because I wanted to test it out on tonight's show.
Excellent. Very, very astute, Mr. Dave Black. And
Thank
with
you.
that, we'll take a short break and come back and get into the topic. And we are back. That was a song Joe Erie is working on with his partner Will, called Creep. It's a work in progress. It's not finished. But today, since Joe couldn't be here, he wanted to at least give us some music to use for our breaks that we could put on YouTube and still be monetized. So that was nice.
I don't know what you're talking about, what song. I put Enter Sandman in. The hell are you listening to, huh?
I love our breaks because we could refresh drinks, we could eat, we could look at photos, Vambros.
Oh my God, that fucking guy.
Hold on, I gotta take a drink.
Great professionalism.
Wait, I think he sent that photo through Messenger. So if I go back deep enough,
She's talking about a penis photo.
yeah, I could show you guys all his. Penis.
I don't want to see.
I'm taking your drink now.
Yeah,
No.
I gave her all my whiskey in cherry Coke, and she's nursing it. What are you doing?
I'm flaunting to get my drink back.
You don't flaunt in front of your boyfriend's friends.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
sorry.
do that.
It's very. There you go. Because I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I forgot this.
That was funny, honey.
All right, when could I roll into my story? I worked really hard on this.
I mean, what did you just like do it on your?
5, 4, 3. In May 1965, mysterious, unknown companies, dummy corporations, began buying up land in Central Florida
The Chickadeau IQ.
near McCoy Air Force Base, now Orlando Airport, and near the planned roads of Interstate 4 or I-4 and the Florida Turnpike near Bay Lake. Companies with names like I-4 Corporation, AYEFOUR, I-4 Corporation, a play on I-4, Interstate 4. A company by the name of MT Lot. Get it? MT Lot.
I would have called it the real McCoy Airspace, personally.
Latin American Development and Management Corporation. And Reedy Creek Ranch Corporation. Mystery and controversy surrounded the land grab. Someone was buying the land and even the mineral rights on parcels of land for near rock-bottom prices. Was it NASA acquiring new land for some secret project?
NASA?
After all, Kennedy Space Center was nearby. Was it Henry Ford, Howard Hughes, the Rockefellers? It was none of the above. Instead, it was Walt Elias Disney, the mastermind, along with his brother Roy, behind the Walt Disney Company and such beloved characters as Mickey Mouse, Pluto, Goofy, Donald Duck, and the rest of the Disney cartoon crew. By this time, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs were already a critically acclaimed hit, and other films like Fantasia, Peter Pan, Cinderella, Bambi, Alice in Wonderland, and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea had made Disney a household name. By using unknown companies and never clearly explaining what would be done with the land, Disney was able to purchase huge plots of land, and again, those mineral rights for bargain basement prices on October 25th, 1965. Then Florida Governor Hayden Burns revealed that the mystery industry coming to Florida was in fact a new theme park called Disney World, which he promised would be the greatest attraction in the history of Florida. Once local landowners found out exactly who was buying land and for what purpose, land prices soared over 1,000% of value. So shady or not, you have to admit, Disney's dummy corporation strategy was brilliant. Walt Disney World, officially Walt Disney World Resort, opened on October 1st, 1971 in Bay Lake and Lake Buena Vista, Florida, near Orlando and Kissimmee. Originally, it was only something around 107 acres, about 0.17 square miles, and contained just the Magic Kingdom and 24 attractions. Attractions like the Haunted Mansion, Country Bear Jamboree, Hall of Presidents, the Swiss Family Treehouse, Peter Pan's Flight, and It's a Small World, along with 2 hotels and a campground. Today, almost 50 years later, Walt Disney World Resort sits on almost 30,000 acres, nearly 47 square miles, and boasts 4 theme parks. The Magic Kingdom, which opened in 71, the environmental prototype City of Tomorrow, or just Epcot, which opened in 82, Hollywood Studios, 89, and Animal Kingdom, 98. There's also 2 water parks, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach. On the property sits 27 themed resort hotels and several golf courses and other entertainment venues, including Disney Springs, formerly Downtown Disney, a shopping district, and entertainment district.
What about the red light?
They don't have a red light.
No,
Maybe that's Euro Disney.
Maybe that's Euro, yeah.
Governor Burns was right, if not a little short-sighted, when he said Disney World would be the greatest attraction in the history of Florida. The greatest attraction in the history of Florida? Absolutely. Today, though, it could be called the greatest attraction ever, as Disney World is the most visited theme park in the world. And just as an aside, Disney and the culture surrounding Disney is so huge that parks are now located across the globe. There's Tokyo Disneyland, Disneyland Park in France, Hong Kong Disneyland, and Shanghai Disney Resort, just to name a few. You got to understand, Walt Disney World is Americana. People from all over the world visit Disney World in all of its glory. It's the happiest place on earth, after all. In fact, 52 million people a year make the pilgrimage to Disney World. It's like a rite of passage. Eager parents save up for years to get the chance to take their kids to Disney World. My mom and grandparents did it for me. Of course, I had to do it for my kids, and I did. A few years ago, I was able to take my wife and 2 kids. My son, Nico, 1 at the time, and my daughter, Talia, then 6. And we did it up, too. Rode all the rides, did the Haunted Mansion twice. My daughter, Talia, absolutely loved it. It's a Small World, Peter Pan, Pirates of the Caribbean, Swiss Family Robinson, and we even had dinner in Cinderella's castle at Cinderella's Royal Table. It really was magical.
At the stroke of midnight?
No.
No, damn.
But it really was magical, even for us as parents, adults. I get emotional just thinking about the look on my daughter's face as she got to meet, get pictures with, and get autographs from her favorite Disney princesses. Memories that last a lifetime, man.
I cried when I met Ariel, and I was like 16.
That's what it's about. I mean, this is part of Disney. Is literally part of growing up. You don't have Disney growing up, you miss something.
I mean, here, yeah.
I was more of a Warner Brothers type of kid.
Yeah, Animaniacs, you know.
Scooby-Doo.
Here's an interesting fact.
I never
Studio
really
Ghibli
did get
movies.
into. I really never did get into Disney.
Oh,
so.
man, I still watch Disney. I'm a huge classic Disney buff. I don't really care for new Disney stuff.
What
There's
about
some good new
Moana?
ones.
I've never seen it.
Oh, dude, that movie's amazing.
That movie's
All the
amazing.
classic Disney.
I've never seen The Lion
I watch
King.
it all. I love
There's
it.
something wrong with you.
Never seen
The Lion King opening is my favorite opening Disney movie still.
I've cried at The Lion King.
Here's the thing is that okay, never mind. This is not about us. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Well, here's an interesting fact, guys. I don't know if you knew this. Walt Disney was born in Chicago.
What?
He was born at 20.
So did all the serial killers too, by the way. Did you guys know that?
What?
A lot of serial killers were born in Chicago too.
Are you serious?
What the doy?
Well, another podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, at 2156 North Trip in Chicago's Hermosa neighborhood.
Hey, you know who else was born in Chicago? Bonnie Hunt.
Huh. Twister.
I learned that yesterday because
Bonnie Hunt is on Twister.
Because
I thought she was.
I learned that yesterday.
No,
'cause
that's
I like to play.
fuck.
I like to play this fun game with myself. Okay, so Jumanji was on yesterday, right?
Bonnie Hunt is Jumanji, yeah.
So,
okay.
So I was looking at what I like to do when I see child actors, from like movies from like the 90s or whatever. I'm like,
Good thing you said actors after child.
I'm wondering, I wonder if like that kid is still acting. You know, like I always wonder if those kids are still doing something. The girl in the movie was Kirsten Dunst, so we obviously know she's still acting. But the boy in the movie, I was like, who is that boy? Is he still an actor? So I went like into the menu to like look what his name was to see if he was still in like, because usually when that happens you're like, whatever happened to that fucking guy from that movie, you can guarantee he's been on it like 4 Law and Order episodes at some point. And
Corbin Bernstein?
I think he's still around, but like whenever you think of some obscure actor, you're like, whatever happened to that guy? Like always they're on some crime drama, NCIS or one of those things. But I looked up the kid's name, and then I saw that Bonnie Hunt was born in Chicago, and I thought I would bring that very interesting fact to you.
Well,
guys
where else
right
did you
now.
see the
I
fucking
appreciate
kid?
that. Well, can we get back?
The kid never.
Can we
did
get back
anything
to-
else.
That's all I want to
Can we
know.
get back to Walt's childhood home?
Yeah,
I mean, it brings it right back to the podcast, right? Chicago.
I
Disney.
think Jumanji was a Disney movie, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was.
I mean, I think the Rock one was. I don't know.
I mean, only if you count the fact that Disney owns almost everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess they are, yeah.
Well, again, the
But
interesting
no, it's not.
fact is, just to bring it home and localize it, Walt Disney was born in Chicago, 2156 North Tripp, in the Hermosa neighborhood, right in the corner of Tripp Avenue and Palmer Street. The home was built by hand by Disney's mother, Flora, and his father, Elias. And after completing construction of the family home in 1893, the Disneys moved in, along with their sons, Herbert and Raymond. Soon after, Roy Disney was born, and on December 5th, 1901, Walt was born in the home in a second-floor bedroom. And then in 1903, Ruth Disney, Walt's sister, was also born in the home. Elias Disney sold the Disney family home in 1906 and moved them to Merceline, Missouri. That's where everyone thinks Disney's from. The fact that the Disney's first called Chicago home is often overlooked, even by Disney scholars, and today the home is restored to its 1901 condition and is open as a museum to tribute the Disney family, right here in Chicago.
Which knee, Disney or Disney?
Disney, you guy.
Just wanted to say that.
So, I don't know, listeners, by now you're probably wondering, why is a wholesome topic like Disney and Walt Disney World a topic on a show dedicated to hauntings, conspiracy theory, murder, death, and mayhem? Well,
I saw that movie too.
Hey guys, can I interject for one moment?
you're going
At the
anyway.
worst spot, like he's
I know, I was
to
about to make it up.
I just want to let everyone know. I looked up.
Edit this out.
I looked up Bradley Pierce, who played Peter
Oh,
in
good.
Jumanji,
Glad.
and he has 63 credits on IMDb as an actor. So he was in Bachelor Party 2, The Last Temptation in 2008.
You're going to read through all
actor.
46 credits?
He's been in some
63 credits?
video games. He's been in Chicken Soup for the Soul, a TV series from 1999.
Of course.
Oh, he was on an episode of Star Trek Voyager as Jason Janeway.
Of course he was.
Oh, he was in Mr. Show with Bob and David. I enjoy that.
3:51 a.m.
Yeah, so he's
work at
done a lot of not very
on
good
Tuesday.
things.
3:30 on Tuesday.
No, tomorrow, Sunday. Today's Sunday.
So, Oscar, were you wondering why a wholesome topic like Disney and Walt Disney World is a topic on this crazy show?
I mean, not really, but for the purposes of this setup, yeah, why are we talking about something so wholesome and so iconic to our childhoods, Jay?
Well, Oscar, with almost 50 years of history and 1 billion visitors as of 2010, the last time the numbers were crunched and officially released, a lot of fucked up shit has happened at Disney World. And a lot of conspiracy surrounds the park and its creator. And listeners, please keep in mind, this episode is covering Disney World Resort in Florida, not the original Disneyland in Anaheim, California, that opened in 1955. We could do a podcast at Disneyland at another time. Believe me, there's a lot to talk about in Disneyland, too.
Do you think there's some animosity between the workers at Disneyland and Disney World?
Kind of like Rumble in the parking lot?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be.
Like, they have once a year a meeting between the managers, and they put them all together, and let's say the halfway point in Texas, right? And
they just put a couple
they
weapons
give each
in a
other
room
daggers,
and-
right? Yeah.
Ah,
See,
that would be great.
that's kind of how I feel they do it.
That should be the next Disney movie. The Rock could be in that one, too.
Well, The Rock could be in any movie because he's charming.
He is. He's handsome, too.
And, but Disney protects their image harder than the government or the
yeah.
police or anyone.
Well, that gets into something really interesting here. So that's a perfect segue, actually. Let's talk conspiracy. Probably the most famous story about Walt Disney himself. After he died of lung cancer in 1966 at the age of 65, and not seeing a single shovelful of dirt moved for his piece de resistance, in other words, Disney World, people say he was cryogenically frozen, either just his head or his entire body.
And The Simpsons told us this, by the way.
That's right. Until such time in the future when technology would be able to revive him and he could live once again. Now, according to Walt's daughter, Diane, the cryogenically frozen rumors are completely false. Walt Disney was cremated after his death and interred at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, and not underneath Pirates of the Caribbean ride, as some would have us believe. After he died, Walt's ceremony was private and little details were given surrounding his death, so of course, conspiracy theories flourished. And to fuel the rumor, in 1972, a man named Bob Nelson, then president of the Cryonics Society of California, gave an interview to the Los Angeles Times in which he said Walt was interested in being frozen, but he wasn't.
See, that seems like a joke.
No, it's true.
No. It seems like something like he will give a joke to, like, these rumors are coming up. They ask for an interview or a statement, like, let's throw him a little bit of a bone here. He asked to find out how it works.
You know what I feel? I feel that what I heard.
Get more funding.
This is what I heard about Walt Disney. He was fed to a hamster that was then put in the anus of Richard Gere.
Nope, didn't happen.
No, that's what I heard. Oh no, it was a gerbil.
So that interested in being frozen part from the newspaper piece is what people held on to. That's what they grasped. Not the fact that this man in the interview, Bob Nelson, said that it never happened. They grabbed on to Walt was interested, and therefore it happened. It is true that weeks prior to Disney's death, people from his camp called the Cryonics Society of California asking questions about the freezing process. Walt himself never filled out the paperwork to be frozen and never specified that after his death he was to be frozen, and when he did die, his family wasn't having any of it. So he was cremated. 2 weeks after Walt was laid to rest, though, the Cryonics Society of California did freeze the first man. Walt missed out. Another popular conspiracy theory is that Walt Disney was a raging anti-Semite, that he loathed Jews. The thought is so widespread that the idea has crept into pop culture. Family Guy has spoofed it, Robot Chicken, and in 2014, actress Meryl Streep and Walt's grandniece accused Disney of being a misogynistic anti-Semite at the National Board of Review dinner, like a huge pregame to the Golden Globes. There was even a time, not too long ago in fact, that if you typed into Google the words Walt Disney was, the first instant result was a Nazi. Goes to show how many people were searching this phrase. And really, it's impossible to say if Disney was or wasn't an anti-Semite. No one knows what truly goes on in someone else's mind. Yes, in 1933, the big bad wolf in Disney's Three Little Pigs was disguised as a Jewish peddler. Which, people point out, makes sense because Jews don't eat pork, and therefore a Jewish peddler would seem non-threatening to three pigs. I can't make this stuff up. Yes, after the 1938 Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass, where Nazis in Germany torched synagogues, vandalized Jewish homes and schools and businesses, and killed nearly 100 Jews, Disney personally welcomed to his studio Nazi director Leni Riefenstahl when she came to the States to promote her film Olympia in 1938. Maybe Disney was trying to get his films back into Germany after Hitler outlawed American films. Maybe it was just professional alikeism. Both were tasked with producing propaganda films for the war. Disney, pro-American propaganda, like his 1943 Education for Death, The Making of a Nazi, which could be found on YouTube. Riefenstahl, pro-Germany. And yes, after a huge labor dispute, Walt formed the Motion Picture Alliance, which was filled with notoriously anti-Semitic individuals. People even go so far to say that Epcot, remember, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which today is not what Walt originally intended to be, was to mimic a fascist form of government-controlled living, a place where people actually lived, not unlike Nazi Germany, where there were to be no slums, there would be no unions, voting would be non-existent, all homes would be rented, and no one would be able to retire. Everyone must be employed. Loyal labor. Again, not unlike Nazi Germany or Italy under Mussolini.
Is that the same place where the idea of Tomorrowland comes in, or is it a different place?
Tomorrowland is in the Magic Kingdom.
Okay, making sure. I'm just asking. Okay.
Now, These ideas of no slums, no voting, no unions, rented homes, loyal labor, these are Disney's own plans for Epcot. Instead of using socialism, Disney wanted to utilize his prominent and unregulated role in bloated American capitalism to gain more control over land and people. And even today, his ideas for corporate-controlled living lives on at Disney World. In the 1960s, the Reedy Creek Improvement District, i.e. Walt Disney World, was incorporated as its own municipality, today Lake Buena Vista, Florida, and has free reign to do what it sees fit in the Disney city. As of 2010 census, 10 people officially live in Lake Buena Vista. The remaining thousands of workers are merely renters, subjected to low wages, strict guidelines, and if they ever leave the park, are permanently evicted. Walt Disney World erects its own buildings, has its own hospital and emergency service, even its own police force, and unions are non-existent. Yet despite all of this, it is extremely hard to find accounts of anti-Semitism among Disney's past Jewish employees. So I don't know, was Disney an anti-Semite? I'll leave that for the listeners to decide. What do you guys think? What have you heard?
I mean, I've heard those things before. Like I said, Simpsons jokes, skits, SNL maybe. I don't know, maybe not SNL, but maybe something like that, and never hold credence to them. People say that, jokes like that, rumors tend to be more in fact and stuff, but that's more of a general topic than it is about Disney himself. I honestly never gave 2 cents or 2 thoughts on this guy or his regime or
legacy
his legacy. I don't give a shit. I mean, I like the movies. I don't love them like most people, but even if I love them, I still don't care. I mean, he's long dead, and he didn't do Aladdin, so because he was dead by then.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I never thought of it, and I wouldn't care if he was anti-Semite or not. I mean, I guess if there's some sort of like DNA-seeking missile that goes after Jews only, if he has hiding under Epcot Center, that's a little scary. But I don't have any Jewish blood either. So.
Well, let's hear from the Jew.
Right.
Personally, I've heard the rumors and stuff, but I've never really looked into it beyond that. It's just kind of this long-running joke. But it seems like there is merit to it. A lot of people at that time were, notoriously anti-Jew, and you see that stuff coming out now too. In present day, where people it's baffling to me that you'll see these people say things like, "Oh, the Jews, they're running this and they're running that, and blah blah blah. The Jews," and I'm like,
well, everyone knows you run Hollywood, Dave.
Well,
you and your people.
But it's just like what?
It seems like they had a firmer hold before, though.
Like I don't understand. Like what in what way is that affecting? Like even if that's true, well, how is that affecting you in a negative way? Like what difference does it make? I don't get mad that Indian people run mostly Dunkin' Donuts. I don't get mad that Dunkin' Donuts and hotel chains are monopolized by Indian and Pakistani people. I'm ever oh, we need to stop these Indian people from owning Dunkin' Donuts. Who gives a shit that's what they do? Okay, that's fine. I don't get mad that Asian people run dry cleaners. It's a stereotype, but it's also there are a lot of Asian people that run dry cleaners, and I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing or anything to be worried about. But I'm certainly not what's this conspiracy with these? They're trying to poison us all.
Yeah.
No, it's just for whatever reason, people of that ethnicity come to this country and run those types of businesses because it works for other people of their ethnicity or their family or whatever, and that's what they do. All right,
No.
Italian guys drive cabs in New York. It's a thing. That's a thing. I don't know why it's a thing. It's just a
My
thing.
cleaner is Italian.
There you go.
Martino.
Your hitman is Italian?
Well,
Cleaner, get it?
We'll have to talk about that.
In my neighborhood where I grew up, there was Art the tailor, and I think he was Greek or something. But when he answered the phone, he would be like, "Hello, Alesselo." He would say Art the tailor, but it would all run together. So he'd be like, "Hello, Alesselo."
That's cute.
And we would just call just to hear him say that and then hang up.
I like that. Oh, that's a dark end to that story. Let's get a little darker. Deaths at Disney World.
I mean, someone has got to died, right?
All those people, all those years.
Right.
Now, there's a theory. There's a conspiracy theory here about deaths at Disney. And it says, nobody is allowed to die on Disney property. Now, I have a cousin who interned at Disney 2 years ago. She was there when, Hurricane Matthew went through?
Okay.
They believe it was Matthew. That was a whole other story. But we'll call her Minnie Mouse. She doesn't want her name on the show.
Okay.
She's trying to get another internship at Disney, so we're not going to say her name. She's Disney Mouse. Mickey Mouse. I've been drinking.
Disney Mouse.
So I asked her about this theory, this conspiracy that no one's allowed to die on the property. And her answer to me, it's kind of true and kind of false. According to Minnie Mouse, plenty of people have died on Disney property before, but due to a technicality, next to nobody has actually been declared dead on Disney World property.
What?
Yes.
That's kind of cool. I mean, maybe not.
Yeah, well, it makes sense when she continues. Once paramedics begin life-saving efforts, they can't stop those efforts until the patient has been transported to a medical facility, even if the patient is obviously dead. Therefore, what some might interpret as flogging a dead body to delay a determination of death could actually be a legally required procedure. In addition, the large size and relative isolation of Walt Disney World complex makes it imperative that persons in need of urgent medical attention be loaded into helicopters and transported to hospitals as quickly as possible. The combination of these two factors make it rather unlikely that anyone would actually be declared dead on Walt Disney World property, regardless of how the Walt Disney Company felt about the matter.
You're kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that goes to what I was saying a little bit about how crazy they're about protecting their image or this golden rule, like to be
this corporate rule of all.
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, so let's talk about deaths. The most recent, and this one's horrible. A beautiful 2-year-old boy named Lane Graves. On June 14th, 2016, little Lane was walking with his mother and father on the shoreline of the Seven Seas Lagoon at the Grand Floridian Hotel Resort and Spa.
Don't hurt yourself.
They were building sandcastles when little Lane walked ankle deep into the lagoon around 9 p.m. When out of nowhere, an alligator lunged out and grabbed the boy by the head and dragged him underwater. Lane's father, Matt Graves, tried to pry open the alligator's jaw to no avail. The gator escaped, taking with it the body of his little boy. Experts say that Matt, the father, scared the gator, and it released the boy, causing him to drown. Little Lane's body was found the next day in 6 feet of murky water, a mere 10 to 15 yards off the shore. There were no swimming signs posted, but there wasn't a single warning alligators sign posted.
Okay.
That's changed since, thankfully.
I bet, yeah, well, yeah.
I don't know why.
But what a horrible, horrible story.
Literally any body of water in Florida, it doesn't matter where it is. There's so many canals and channels that run all over crisscross Florida that there is no reason why they shouldn't have warned people that there could be alligators present anywhere.
Perception. It's Disney. Accidents can't happen at Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just fucking shameful. It's shameful. I could see me and Katie walking with Nico. You're at the Grand Floridian. It's one of the most expensive resorts.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the happiest place on earth. The last thing in your mind is tragedy. You know, you would think Disney would... I've been to resorts in fucking Mexico that put up fencing underwater to keep nasty things away from where tourists would swim.
No. Well, that's just logic and practicality speaking,
yeah.
But they don't want to give that. They don't want to shatter that illusion. It's like the illusion's better than the reality, right?
Like
exactly.
I said, I was at a resort in Orlando just earlier this month, and we were right across from the convention center in downtown Orlando. You could see the amusement parks from our balcony, and just behind our hotel, maybe 500, maybe quarter mile behind our hotel, there was a rattlesnake that had been run over in the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like in the middle of downtown Orlando. There's rattlesnakes.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I mean, not to say that rattlesnakes are going to be running around biting people frivolously, but it's. There were right behind our hotel. There's a little pond lagoon, and there were signs there that said, alligators and snakes are present, so be careful.
I mean, just put yourself in that family's position. The father. You're sitting there making sandcastles. Probably saved up a long time to be here. Take your kids.
Right, a lot of people do that saving up thing. Yeah, that's insane.
Take your kids here to give them an experience they'll never forget.
Right.
And just out of nowhere, man.
In more ways than one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, next thing you know, you're trying to pry open the jaws of a gator that has your 2-year-old kid in it.
Oh, those fuckers are fast, though.
The thing is that, I've interacted with gators irresponsibly so at times. And
Who?
So this was 3 years ago. We were in Florida. I go down to Florida once a month throughout the winter time for citrus to bring it back up here to sell to my chef clients, restaurants, my produce company. And so we were on Route 41. It cuts straight through the Everglades, straight across Florida.
Yep, I'm familiar.
And we were driving to we go on this. There's this road that goes to the Mikosuke Indian Reservation that we like to travel. It's this dirt road. It goes for 30 miles, and every couple hundred feet there's these culverts that go under the road. And when you go at night, you bring a spotlight with you, and every time you get to one of these culverts, you shine the light in the water, and there's a gator, and there's a turtle, and there's hundreds of fish, and there's Oscars, and there's
a lot of
gar,
Oscars.
and all these crazy things going on. It's like looking into a fish tank. It's amazing. So we were picking up baby gators, and we're looking at things, and we're all this crazy stuff's happening, and then we're realize it's midnight. It's 1 o'clock, and we're a good 2 hours from the nearest hotel. So Naples is where we were headed to, and we're kind of right smack dab in the middle of Florida. And either direction you go, it's 70 miles until you get to civilization or whatever, 60 miles. So we're trying to get to Naples, Florida. It's already midnight, and we just want to get to a hotel and go to sleep. And we're driving 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour down 41. And this car is coming the other way. First car we've seen. And they flash their lights at me, and I'm like, what, do I have my brights on? What's happening?
Right.
I'm like, what the hell's up with that guy? And then quarter mile up the road, I see a dark spot in the road and realize at the last second it's an alligator laying across the lane.
Damn, was it alive?
Wow.
It was alive. Whew. It was a live 7-foot alligator. And I swerved around it, slammed on the brakes, swerved around it into the oncoming lane. There's nobody coming. It's the middle of the night. And I swear to God, the van kind of tipped up on one side for a second, and then slammed back down. We had 1,500 pounds of fruit in the back of the van, and everything's shaking around. And we were like, oh. So we pull off the side of the road, and go to see we got to get this alligator out of the road before it kills somebody.
Nuts.
And it had already been clipped. So somebody already ran over its head. So basically, its whole upper nose and jaw had been snapped off.
Oh, Jesus!
And it was just laying there in a pool of its own blood. And I'm and it was still moving, and alive, and breathing. And I'm like, well, we got to get this thing off the road. So another car is coming down the road from the way we came, and then we're we got the car pulled over with the flashers on, and we're shining our flashlights at the guy, trying to wave him down. And this guy sees us and speeds up. And comes right up to the alligator and slams on his brakes, and then realizes he was being an asshole because he was obviously thought that we were distressed and was trying to avoid helping us or whatever.
Yeah.
And turns, swerves around it and speeds off down the road, never to be heard from again. And I'm like, well,
his name was Richard?
I don't know what else to do here. So I grabbed the alligator by the tail, and at this point its jaw is smashed off. So I know even if it flips around, it's not going to be able to bite me. It might smack me, but it's not gonna chomp down on me. So I pick it up, and I was surprised at it wasn't very heavy. I mean, this is in the middle of the winter too, so they're not super fat or anything. They're kind of slim in the winter. But I was able to pick it up by the tail and drag it off the road. And it was a 8 foot alligator.
Jeez.
And I was able to do it pretty easily. So if I was in that situation and saw like an alligator eating a kid, I would grab it by the tail and yank the thing out of the water. And once you get it on land, at least you have the advantage. And by harassing it and haranguing it and pulling it around, it's going to let go of its prey to try and bite you.
Well, that's what they said happened here, that the alligator did let go. It got scared, and then the boy drowned. Horrible. Just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the deaths at Disney World don't stop there.
I would hope not.
Yeah, April 12th, 2015. Gary Terry.
Oh, my God. Bad parents.
Good name. Good name.
No, bad parents.
Gary Terry, a 36-year-old man, died when, as a passenger, his Lamborghini crashed into a guardrail at over 100 miles an hour at Disney World's exotic driving experience.
Oh, Devin, is that a driving thing?
And it gets even more ironic. Okay. Gary Terry was a race car driver.
No, he wasn't.
Damn.
No, he wasn't.
A race car driver by trade. Yep.
What trade? The shitty trade? Oh, that sucks.
June 13th, 2005. A 4-year-old boy, I'm going to try to get this right, Dowdy Bumawame,
Good job.
died of a heart attack while riding Mission Space at Epcot, a ride that simulates a rocket launch mission to Mars. And the ride was so intense that motion sickness bags accompanied
He was
each
immersed.
ride.
Or she.
He, I think.
Let's just
Dowdy
go.
Bumawame?
It was.
Bumawame?
They were immersed.
But it was, it's a very immersive experience. Sickness bags accompany each ride, and many riders complain of chest pains. So this poor 4-year-old boy died.
To this day, they complain. That's a common complaint.
Well,
I've never been on a ride. Never heard of that one.
They closed Mission Space in, I think, early 2017 to rehab it. They said,
Okay.
and it's going to open up as another ride if it hasn't already.
Right.
So, February 11th, 2004. A Disney World worker named Javier Cruz, dressed as Pluto, was run over by a parade float in Frontierland and died just before performing in an afternoon parade called Share a Dream Come True. Share a Dream Come True. And he died.
I guess it came.
Wow. This happened in the cast-only section of the park, so luckily none of the tourists saw. February 14th, 1999, known as the Fantasyland Skyway Station Incident. A 65-year-old custodian was working on a platform when one staff member started the ride not knowing the custodian was on the platform. When the ride started up and the gondolas began to move, the janitor grabbed onto one of the gondolas but was unable to hold on, and he fell 40 feet to his death. And he landed in a flower bed near the Dumbo the Flying Elephant ride. September 12th, 1992. Alan Ferris killed himself with a sawed-off 12-gauge shotgun at Epcot Center after taking several security guards hostage. He was distraught over an ex-girlfriend that worked at the park.
Oh, shit.
Now remember, Epcot, that's part of the
I thought for a second
Disney
you were gonna
World
say
Resort
he traveled-
property.
He traveled cross-country with his family to get there and then found out that it was closed for maintenance.
That was family vacation. Chevy Chase.
Yeah, I remember
Family Vacation?
Remember at the end where he murdered his whole family with a sawed-off shotgun?
That didn't happen.
Remember, kids, ask your grandparents who Chevy chases.
What Family Vacation was it? Family Vacation? Yeah, right.
It was Vacation, the original Vacation.
Just
The original.
Vacation, right?
Yeah.
November 1984, a single-engine airplane crashed in Disney World parking lot at Epcot.
Ooh, Donnie Darko.
While trying to make an emergency landing, the aircraft struck a light pole, killing 2 adults and 1 child, and critically injuring 2 other children. August 11th, 1977, Joel Good, a 4-year-old from Dalton, Illinois, drowned in the moat surrounding Cinderella's castle at the Magic Kingdom. People have drowned in Seven Sea Lagoon, the big lake in front of the Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
And there's so many more. There wasn't enough time in a single episode to list all the deaths. These are some of the most popular, famous.
So are we like just besmirching their image?
No, because I still love. I'd love to. This episode isn't to smear Disney, But these are facts. These are
we
things
can
that
no
happen.
longer work for Disney after this episode.
Disney is definitely out.
Like we can't work. Like I can't make a movie for them. If
You
I
could
ever get a
probably
choice.
you probably couldn't sweep up the trash at Disney.
There goes Star Wars Episode 20 for me, guys. Thank you. Right. Anyway, continue.
Oh man.
They hold grudges, man.
So those are some deaths associated with Walt Disney World in Florida. Of course, with all the deaths, we're going to have ghosts. So let's get into some of those ghost stories.
What kind of ghosts are we going to have?
Well, let's see if you can figure this out.
What type of ghosts are we
Mortem
going to have?
for sure.
Yeah.
Lots of
Mortem, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
And the one that the copulae shit.
The cupula?
Yeah, that one.
So, number one, rumor has it that a bellhop, they call a bellhop, a cast member, ushering guests in on platform Delta at Disney's Tower of Terror, died of a heart attack on the ride, and his ghost is seen haunting the ride. The
Like
ghostly
seats?
bellhop seats, the platform. Yep, actually, the ghostly bellhop is said to frighten cast members and cause weird malfunctions with the ride, and is always seen on platform Delta or riding one of the tower cars.
And was this guy died there?
Yes.
I don't have a visual on this ride.
You could even
but-
see video on YouTube of the ghost bellhop. Just search security camera ghost shows search security camera shows real ghost and Tower of Terror. Security camera shows real ghost and Tower of Terror. Tell us what you think.
Are you going to put that link up, any chance? On the show notes?
I could in the show notes.
In the
Absolutely.
show notes. Find
they
the show
will be
notes,
in the
guys.
show notes. Good call.
We should make that easy for them.
Look it up and tell us what you think. I mean, there is a custodian, a worker of Disney, because every morning they test the ride. So a worker will take the ride of Tower of Terror.
Right.
So you see the custodian, I guess, sitting in one of the seats, getting ready to drop. And in the video, right behind him, at like roughly 27 seconds, in the video, this apparition appears. And you see a man, there's a face, and then later in the video, it disappears from behind the custodian and sits in a seat next to the custodian.
You kidding?
It's really crazy, yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
Nice.
Oh,
We have to wait for him.
Dave,
Keep
there he
talking.
is. Yeah, that's the one. So there you can see the guy right behind him. So Dave's looking at security camera shows real ghost in Tower of Terror.
Anyway, just go on to the next one because there's no good explaining a visual when they can see it.
I know it's really hard. Like Oscar said, I'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, you can see an image of what looks like a person or a face in the background. This is just a still image that I'm looking at right now. Yeah, I'm not. It's not a video. It's just a still image that I'm looking at.
Let's just proceed. When describing a video on an audio podcast is not going to be good.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes, Dave. Don't worry.
It's just bad telling.
So that's Tower of Terror. Pirates of the Caribbean is actually infamously haunted
I would hope so. It's one of the oldest rides, right?
by a ghost by the name of George, who's said to haunt the ride and cause havoc with the ride malfunctions if he's not properly addressed during ride opening and ride closing. Good morning, George.
Well, so
Or
you're saying the announcer or whatever that's letting the tourists
the
in?
cast member, yeah.
So that's what they call them, cast member?
Cast members, yeah.
Jesus, Disney. Fucking dramatic. Anyway.
So they have to say, and my cousin Minnie Mouse could attest to this.
Oh, you're kidding. So they have
No,
to, they
it's-
say that shit in
Absolutely,
in the
they
top.
do.
Like, hello,
Absolutely
George.
do. And if they
Okay.
don't,
yeah,
that
something
ride
happens.
will experience malfunctions that day.
Do they ever not do it just for kicks?
I think people have forgotten.
Like, is
for
it
sure.
policy, for example? Like, is it when they're training
It's not in
new
a
people
Um,
and shit? Like, I mean, come on, it's not
I
written
didn't.
down in
It's
the
not
policy.
written in a handbook, but
No?
all cast members who work Pirates of the Caribbean know that in the morning you say "Good morning, George," or when they're closing at night, say "Good night, George."
Oh, I thought you meant like at the opening of every single time they introduce the ride.
no,
for
just in the
someone.
morning and at night.
Oh, okay.
You got to address George.
Okay, so I thought it was a lot more than that. No, man. Okay.
So "Good morning, George" or "Good night, George" is the proper salutation for the ghost. Now, George is believed to be a cast member who died while welding a piece of the ride during its construction in the early 70s. Some say he was crushed. Others say he fell from atop a building on the set. Whatever it is, George, whatever the cause of his death, George has been seen on security cameras. He's manifested as ghostly footsteps or mysterious calls from the ride's control room when no one was in the control room. For guests, now that's for cast members. For guests, George is most commonly seen in the ride's final room, the room with the burning city. George has even been photographed and appears as a cloud of mist or white orbs.
Those are two polar different kind of spectral stuff we've gotten.
Yeah.
One of those two, huh?
Yep.
What I love about it is that, I'm imagining when you die, you get to choose what kind of ghost you can be. He chose to be like the fun ghost that like it needs to be proper.
Right,
There's a little
exactly.
rule
And that's
to him.
yes.
It's like it's nothing vengeful or what. He's just about manners and
That's right.
niceties. That's all he
They
wants.
say there's nothing evil or ominous about
Right,
George.
Right.
Now, my cousin, Minnie Mouse again, she has ridden Pirates of the Caribbean countless times. She's a Disney freak. Minnie, if you're listening to this, you're probably laughing. Disney complete freak.
I don't want to see her browser history.
But she's in our family, and, she descends from the European side.
Okay.
So the women in my family, I've talked about this on the show before, have that weird thing. So although she hasn't seen George, she can attest to the good morning and good night from her fellow castmates. But when she rides the Pirates of the Caribbean, at certain spots on the ride, she's overcome with the feeling, the feeling we get when there's energies around,
Hey,
and just constant feelings of dread in certain parts of the
Judge Dredd?
of the ride. So
Yeah.
might that be a vestibulum?
probably,
Yeah.
absolutely,
He just wants to feel useful.
a vestibulum haunting at Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, there's another haunting associated with the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Walt Disney World, simply known as the Ladies. Story goes, 2 women died on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride when their boat came off track while going down the ride's drop and crashed while they were sitting in the front row. It's said they still linger in this drop area and are experienced as a cold chill and feelings of dread. When
I think
just
George was lonely. He
going
wanted a
over-
girlfriend.
That's right, when just going over the drop.
They didn't say hello.
George-
He was like, I'm going to get these two for myself.
George is a swinger now.
Yeah, he's a swinger. Yeah.
A vestibulous swinger. Is that a classification?
It's one of those in-between ones for sure.
Here's another popular theory, another popular story, and it's true. People spread their loved ones' ashes on Walt Disney World rides more often than you think.
You're kidding.
Nope.
I heard they
Wow.
sweep them all up.
Yep, and put them in the garbage if they see it.
Well, yeah.
And this happens namely on the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean, and it also has happened on It's a Small World, but not as often as Pirates of the Caribbean
I
or
just
Haunted
had a
Mansion.
great idea that I want Dave to do. I want Dave to get a spectral something to latch onto you and leave it at the Pirates.
Ah, yes.
Because that's what these people are kind of trying to do, but you can do it clearly better and with more intent than these people with all their ashes. Because ashes is just ashes, it doesn't actually, I don't think, grab any energy. But
Well,
I
some
think,
people would
You know what I
disagree.
got to do?
well, yeah, there it is.
I'm still convinced to this day that I was able to bring a mobili back to my mother's house
I
with
remember
me.
this. Yeah.
What flavor, Mobile?
This was probably a Mortem mobili. And this was, I want to say it was like 2000, 2001 maybe. And next time I'm in that area, I kind of feel like I should ring the bell and ask the family that lives there now
That'd be crazy.
if there's anything happening in the house.
Oh, man.
Do it, man.
Do it and get back to us.
Put something
for sure.
in there, for sure. Do something.
Yeah, if I do that, I'll have the task cam ready to go.
Perfect. Now, the cremated remains thing, the dumping of ashes, has happened so frequently
Yeah.
On Disney World property that Disney actually started selling themed urns to prevent people
No.
from disposing of loved ones on the property. One of the most famous being
Do they call
a
it...
Haunted Mansion themed urn.
Well, yeah, the doy. But do they call it, like, littering at this point?
Yeah, like if they catch
They
you
must.
doing it, they're like, "Hey,
Yeah, you're pretty
They
much
don't want it, right?
you're banned for life. They'll shut down the ride.
Oh, you're
They'll-
saying... Oh, yeah, they'll ban you for life, for real?
yeah, everything at Disney's on camera, so they get caught.
Oh, yeah,
They're banned for life.
I think Disney World and Land, too, are the only thing that ranks, that matches their surveillance level is a casino.
Probably right.
Right. I think casino maybe have 2 more cameras than they do, but that's it. That's how heavily guarded it is. Did you ever see that documentary about street artists and Banksy and shit?
Oh, Bansky, yeah.
Yeah, what's
Banksy.
Banksy. it was just funny who said it.
Bansky.
Anyway, Bansky. Yeah. What was the name of the movie?
Bansky.
Banksy. Banksy.
Yeah.
I thought it was Bansky.
No, it's
No,
All right.
it's Bagel, by the way, not Bagel.
He's not Polish. Not a Polish guy.
Anyway, have you seen Exit to the Gift Shop?
I know what it is. The documentary, I haven't seen it, though.
There's this whole thing where Banksy he and the guy who's documenting the whole thing, they go in and they do a stunt at Disney World, I think it was.
Oh.
Maybe it was Land, I don't remember. And they sneak in and they put Guantanamo Bay dolls out in the moat where people can see them.
Oh.
And they managed to sneak in and do that. And one of them got captured and interrogated heavily by Disney security and sweated them out and got out and everything, but they couldn't prove anything.
Oh,
but they left them out to look like prisoners on the Disney lawn.
You remember
No
that time
shit.
that Alice DeWald was caught manufacturing fake money with the money machines there, and
No.
Axel Foley had to stop him.
Oh, shut up.
You know what? It sounded like a movie for a second.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop 3.
3.
Do you remember that ridiculous weapon? That ridiculous
the
weapon
one that
with the
played like
microwave.
Jerry Lewis songs and
Yeah,
stuff.
it had a microwave in it, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
that Balky Bartakamus sold him.
Someone had to build
Cousin
that.
Balky.
Someone had to build that,
Well,
Some prop guy.
in keeping with theme of dumping ashes, and I had mentioned just a few minutes ago,
You know what the
few
thing
seconds.
is?
Okay,
I'm sorry, but
You're like,
in that scene where he's using that wacky gun, the
Yeah.
security guys are shooting at him with automatic weapons, and he's hiding behind a slatted wood bench, and that's protecting him from bullets.
No, what's protecting him from bullets is his attitude. Did you see the movies?
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
all right, thank you. So, keeping in line with the dumping of ashes, and I just mentioned Haunted Mansion a few minutes ago. A woman approached Disney World instead of just secretly dumping ashes. She actually approached Disney World and asked if she could spread the ashes of her 7-year-old son on the Haunted Mansion ride. To which, of course, Disney World said no,
No, what the fuck?
but she did it anyway.
So she asked before she was going to do it. She didn't do it anyway.
She did it anyway, yeah. Kind of like when I ask you guys, can I talk about a certain subject? I'm going to do it anyway.
Right, it's a rhetorical question.
It's rhetorical. But
yeah.
today, flash forward to today, the Haunted Mansion ride is said to be haunted by the ghosts of 2 young boys, one who laughs and one who cries. They're most often seen on the Doom buggies. Those are the cars that drive through the Haunted Mansion ride.
I've never been on that one.
Oh, man, I've been on it. It's great. It's just great.
Last time I went, the only time I went, it was before that ride was there, I think.
No, that ride opened up with the park in 71.
Oh, I thought I was thinking that Eddie Murphy movie one. There's an Eddie Murphy.
Oh, the Haunted Mansion with
Sorry.
Eddie Murphy.
Is that a different one? I'm sorry.
Big difference.
Then I probably did go to that. I just don't remember. Sorry.
The
Okay,
Eddie
continue.
Murphy movie is based off of that ride.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking, but there's
Yeah.
a one that looks like that movie, though, more, right?
I don't think so.
I thought
think
there
there was
was.
just one. Well, anyway, the 2 ghost boys, they're most often seen peeking out of the Doom buggies, scaring guests and cast members. The 2 ghost boys have also been seen in the ballroom section of the ride and at the exit area when you turn backwards in the Doom buggies as you exit the ride. There's other hauntings at the Haunted Mansion. The stretch room, or the entry room where cast members greet you when you enter the Haunted Mansion and the room appears to stretch and the paintings lining the walls stretch and get all distorted. Cast members claim to be grabbed, usually on the shoulder, by cold, unseen hands.
Is
hands.
there anyone rumored to have died in these rides at all?
Not in the Haunted Mansion. Not in the
Okay.
Haunted Mansion.
Oh.
So what I'm thinking is that's a communist haunting there.
And explain to us what a communist haunting is again?
Communist haunting is the collective energy, the one that does not come from a person that died, but comes from many living people going through a variety of emotions in that place.
Experiencing.
So is it possible that that collective energy itself of people going through a haunted mansion are manifesting things that people would be scared by in a haunted place?
Like a little child.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So the very presence of everyone's energy there is actually causing physical manifestations of people's fears to show up as hallucinations.
That does create some
Wow.
awe. Yeah.
That's great. That's a good, strong theory.
Yeah. Is there any video or photographic evidence from those?
There is. There's a photo circulating the internet of a little boy peeking from one of the Doom buggies. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What year was that in with the kid?
It was
they don't know when they die, right? They don't know.
Doom buggies?
Doom. Yeah, Doom buggies. Disney World Doom Buggy Ghost. You can put that in. So while Dave's looking up that photo, another thing about the Doom Buggies, guests and cast members claim to see what appears to be a brown-haired cast member, another cast member. People mistake this brown-haired man as another cast member. Especially in the Doom Buggies, they'll see this, from the Doom Buggies, they'll see this brown-haired cast member bend down, like going to pick something up.
All right, this picture I'm looking at
He'll disappear from sight, but then never reappears again. Yeah, that's the one.
This picture is like a straight up like kid's face. Like it looks like an actual just picture of a kid.
Well, that's the photo that people talk about.
Well, to me, it just looks like an actual kid looking out of a like. It doesn't look to be a ghost to me. It just looks like a kid. Which, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know what was there. But
sure.
For all we know, it could have literally been just a kid.
It's possible. It's possible. In the Haunted Mansion, cast members have seen the ghost of a man with a cane riding the Haunted Mansion late at night. Many believe this strange figure is the ghost of a pilot who died in the 1940s when his airplane crashed into what is now Bay Lake. So quite a few hauntings associated with the Haunted Mansion. Now, Walt Disney himself is said to haunt Disney World. A viral YouTube video called Security Camera Captures Ghost at Disney World appears to show a ghost walking the park late at night and even walks across the rivers of America in Frontierland. People believe this apparition is Walt Disney himself, walking the grounds of the park that he planned but never saw completed. Again, that footage is called Security Camera Captures Ghost at Disney World. Is it Walt? Don't know. The ghost... oh my God, I gotta stop drinking.
The ghostening.
The ghost.
The ghost bagel Banksy.
The ghost of Roy Disney, Walt's brother, co-founder, is said to haunt the streets of Main Street, USA at Walt Disney World. He's seen walking and smiling and seemingly enjoying him and his brother's massive creation. Spaceship Earth, Epcot.
But let's face it, he's afraid of that family, right?
Yeah, right. At Epcot, Spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth, mind you, that's the huge silver ball. That's the call sign for Epcot. It sits right out in front.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It said that two young kids, a little girl with blonde hair and a little boy, are seen playing together in front of the attraction when suddenly they disappear. Could this be the ghosts of the two young children killed in the plane crash in Epcot's parking lot in 1984?
No.
So those are stories that I dug up, no pun intended, on Walt Disney World. The happiest place on earth actually has a real sinister side.
Well, I mean, that's true of everything.
And there's so many. There's many more. Oh, I have to make a correction. One child died. One child died in the plane crash in '84, not two.
Okay.
So I have got to correct that. Oscar, edit that out.
You know the answer.
Could one of the children be seen playing at Epcot in front of Spaceship Earth?
Stop moving that mic sometimes.
Be one of the kids who died in the crash? Don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I love Disney. I love everything about it. Again, this isn't meant to smear.
But mostly the anti-Semitism.
Right. Love that.
If we have any Japanese
This isn't meant to
listeners,
smear.
I want a One Piece
But
retrospective.
there's a whole nother side to Disney that people don't realize exists. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that a lot of people don't think of all the key grips that there are in the making of Disney films. I'm not sure what a key grip does.
Key grip like tapes down where the lights would be and shit. They do like gophers for like a lot of the equipment stuff.
Yeah, so we need to think about those guys.
Electricians kind of. Yeah, key grip. Everyone can be a key grip, like a PA. Yeah, I think that. I mean, I'm not surprised by any of it. Even before you said, I didn't know the details of any of them. Granted, but like, I mean, this is it's a big place where, like you said, millions of people. Some have to die. Have to.
Yeah, and these that I mentioned, they're all documented.
It would be truly surprising.
Deaths are documented.
I would be a jaw agape if there was like a fact that no one died there ever.
Right.
Like it's actually scary if that would be true.
One thing that never has happened at Disney World, child abductions. So that's great.
Probably because of the cameras, right?
No child has ever been reported
I'm gonna see
abducted.
if we can
What
change
about
that.
what about
Well, I looked that one up too, and I was really surprised. considering
no like big attempts or anything?
no big attempts, no actual disappearances or abductions from Walt Disney World. Thank God.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
That is kind of interesting. See, that's my favorite fact so far of this entire.
Heightened security, obviously, cameras everywhere.
Right.
There's
right.
Disney World police, the sheriff.
Yeah, they have
of
their own Gestapo.
Lake Buena Vista or something like that also is responsible
They're
for
like,
patrolling.
they are the
dogs,
American
There's
version.
plainclothes police. They're
the American
everywhere.
version of the Vatican. They're almost praised as much in this country.
No, that's a great point.
They have their own police.
That's a great
They have
point.
their own city. They have two actually. In one land.
Yeah.
It's just,
And they rape a lot of kids.
They rape a lot of kids.
Here
A
we
lot
go.
of kids.
They don't get abducted because they don't remember what happened to them.
Lexi, do you have anything to say about the dark side of Disney?
I forgot she was here.
No.
I'm kidding. Obviously, I did not forget.
Have you ever been to Disney?
I have.
Have you ever had a
I've
ghost
heard-
experience at Disney World?
No.
Have you heard anything about
Yes,
Disney World being
I've
haunted?
heard.
I think
a
What have
lot.
you heard?
I've heard that a lot of people have died before they built the actual
So on
Disney.
the land itself.
Yeah, the land itself.
So that was all swamps and marsh.
Yeah.
And who knows? Indians, I'm sure, live there, right?
Yeah.
Seminole or something.
That the land
I don't know
itself is
the
haunted,
region.
Interesting.
and that Walt Disney is frozen in there.
So you heard that one too?
Yeah, I've heard that
that's
one.
a popular one.
Every land has had its own genocide. Every piece
Yeah.
of land by now.
Yeah, true.
Millions upon millions of years. Come on.
No, that's
Every
a great point.
piece of land has got. I mean, except for the uncharted islands that we only recently uncharted.
We're talking about Disneyland, right?
I know. I'm just talking in general.
Disney World.
Disney
Disney
World.
World.
Okay, Disneyland's the one I'm thinking of that has more like stories. That I have more stories for.
There is a lot of stories.
Yeah.
It's older.
Yeah.
From 55, 1950, in Anaheim, California.
So will Disney? Okay, so Disneyland was first, then Disney World. Is Disney Universe next?
Yeah, so Disneyland opened
awesome.
Anaheim,
I mean,
and
yeah.
Walt Disney was not happy.
Disneyland 1955.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in Anaheim, California. Significantly smaller than Disney World, but what pissed off Walt Disney was the commercialism that boomed immediately next to his park in Anaheim, California. He did not like the commercialism. He did not like all the tchotchke bullshit that popped up around his park. So he went
Isn't
in
his
search.
park pretty much tchotchke bullshit?
Yeah. So he went in search of an area of the United States where he could seclude a park. So he he purchased all this land in those shady.
Was Orlando a city before Disney World came around?
I think Orlando was, but
Yeah, Orlando.
Lake Buena Vista and Bay Lake was not. It was just marsh. It was just swamp.
No, I'm just curious because I mean some of these things, big company like you think of the Detroit, right, with the automobile industry that left there. Now that city is almost gone.
Yeah,
the way it's
no,
gone.
Orlando was there.
Okay, I'm just curious
But
about that.
what he went searching for an area of the United States that he could build a park and seclude it at the same time. So a lot of this land that he bought is by law could never be built on ever, permanently isolating Walt Disney World from this commercialism that he hated.
Right. I wonder if, like, in the case of some sort of like crazy tropical storm / hurricane / something like that, right? Because they're not far from the sea. I know they're not like on the edge, but they're not that far either. I would say, like, I wonder if they had like a protocol for all the residents in the area. Like, that's the zone. Go to Disney World where it might be the most secure.
Well, remember, as of the what did I say? 2010 census,
And it
there were
flies up to the
20
sky.
people living in Lake Buena Vista, in the city that is Walt Disney World.
Right.
When my cousin was there during Hurricane Matthew, there were shelters that they could go to during the hurricane. Never got as bad as the news said it would, but they have evacuation plans after 9/11. or on 9/11, they evacuated the entire park peacefully, safely in like 45 minutes.
Dude, they got the
millions
shit down
of
to a T.
people.
They got the shit
in
down to a
45
T,
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you know that the Magic Kingdom, like where Cinderella Castle stands, is actually essentially 2 stories above ground level?
Like the base of it is 2 stories above ground level?
So you're like when you walk into Cinderella's castle, it's like you're walking into the front door of a house that has a basement and a sub-basement. So land was so marshy and so wet and everything.
Right.
They had all they were able to put down there were like access tunnels. They had to build everything on top of this access tunnel structure. So when you're walking into the castle, you're actually walking into like the 2nd or 3rd floor. Actually, there's a whole nother system underneath.
Can you imagine being a worker going down there all the time?
Oh, people like urban explorers break in and they go through the tunnels and things.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. There's so much more to talk about, but we just don't have time.
Right. Yeah.
Are we going to talk about the ground demons that live there?
Oh man, the ground demons.
We call them Greemans.
Yeah, the Greemans. I don't know. How would that fit into the domain and class?
Oh, no, these are just straight up.
That'd be cryptids,
like demon
right?
monster.
It might be the Vitiforma industria.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
You just want to say that word.
I did. Folks, don't forget. I'm going to put the domain and class taxonomy chart on the website.
Also, if you start seeing this this little thing we got here, this dictionary for
This new science we built.
the science, whatever, start seeing it cropping up in different places or in a movie, we got it first.
Yeah,
mark
I
the-
mean, we're
mark
not
the
going
dates.
to... We want this to be in the common lexicon. We want people to start using this, so we're not patenting it or anything like that. We just want to, we just want to get credit
Until
as
someone
the guys
actually
that started
patents
it.
for them.
That's right. Because we've been screwed before.
Yeah.
Well, someone could still patent it if we don't do it. Sometimes that's not how it
Yeah,
works.
but I don't see the point of anyone doing it's like because if you come up with terms for something, you're going to want other people to use it, won't you? Like
Dizzle.
Ideally.
yeah,
Lexi, for shizzle.
it's for science.
For shizzle my nizzle.
There you go.
You
That's
guys are
for
whiter-
science. That's for science.
Too white. All right, then.
Schnoizel, my noisel.
And with that, somebody isn't going to take us home anymore. So roll end credits
So
now.
stay in your car, guys.
Want to save your soul from hell, riding on our range. Cowboy, change your ways today. Oh. With us you will ride. Devil's herd.
But shit, what you do?
So I put...
You should.
I do. Yeah.
There's an episode 61 folder. I put Joe's music clip in there. I'm just saying for you.
So I can hear you better.
Oh yeah, right. There's an episode 61 folder. I put Joe's music clip in there.
All right.
Just anything after 30 seconds, just whatever you want. The first 30 seconds isn't very good.
Damn, you know that's an outtake.
No! Well, he
Yeah.
said it was in the works.
I'm going to send that to Joe specifically.
He said it was in
I'm
the
just going to put that as the outtakes. All that hour of recording, I'm not gonna for any of that shit.
Yeah, you know Joe's song? The first 30
piece of
seconds
shit.
suck.
Yeah.
That's it.
Are we making another hour of outtakes?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. That was
Wait, does that bother you, Jay?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, I mean, it's not mine. If it was mine,
What do you
She'd
mind?
get a
Like,
backhand.
if that was your kid?
or girl, my woman,
Yeah. Right.
yeah,
go
she'd get a backhand.
ghosts.
I actually like it when she does it.
Oh, God, no, dude.
That doesn't bother me at all.
Okay, I just followed you.
Let me see. How many friends you got, girl? 831?
Yeah.
Doing good, doing good. What's the Skeletor? Person. So what are you looking for in a relationship? Me. Oh, yeah. Relationship goals. Very good. When everyone you know is a muggle, so you only have your kitty, Mr. Whiskas, to practice telepathy with. Hashtag telepathy. Hashtag telepathy.
I have to put a hashtag in each
fantastic.
of my things. So
That is fantastic.
some have like 50 and some have like 2.
You got a lot of photos. What's going on? Oh, no, you don't have that many.
Yeah, no, I have like 36 posts.
How many friends do we
Look
have?
at the lightning storm one.
987. Okay.
You should have seen her old stuff.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of.
It was really risque.
Very. I had to delete a lot of it.
Wait, which one did you want me to look at?
The lightning storm.
Lightning storm.
It's down there. It's a video.
Hashtag thunder. That's awesome.
When
Holy
hashtag
shit,
was
that
a-
is pretty cool.
When hashtag was a thing, like a new thing, I used to just call it hashtag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I go quick.
Could you hashtag the hashtag sign?
Maybe.
Nah.
I should just do an
Oh,
actual
thunder, that's
post
pretty cool.
to do that.
I'm going to like it.
Cool.
Was that Grumpy Cat? No, it's not Grumpy Cat.
No, that's my cat. My old cat. I put bread on his face.
There is no hashtag on there.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you fucked
I
up,
have
son.
to add one right now.
You fucked up.
What's this?
Edit.
What is that? Oh, that's a hall, like a stone hallway.
Hashtag.
Hashtag tunnel, hashtag
Red.
dark, hashtag cool, hashtag abandoned, hashtag pretty cool. So we have hashtag cool and hashtag pretty cool.
You
Just
had
so
me.
you know.
You had me at hello.
Okay, let me.
Did you
well,
show
I
your
can't.
mom?
I
Did-
can't add you while I'm.
You know that's complicated, honey. You're gonna see a lot of posts that are not gonna want to see.
My daughter cleans.
You know, if you want outtakes, you gotta at least
Yes, I
talk
probably
into the
did.
fucking mic.
I think you can still watch my live stream.
I'm watching
She
you.
just
Oh, you
shoves
watching?
every-
Let's all
Wait,
talk
wait,
over
wait,
each
let me
other.
See you.
Show your mom the
screen.
corner. Show your mom the corner. That's how my daughter cleans. Look at this. We'll work into the break.
Oh my gosh, Bella Thorne is coming to Chicago.
Why are
could do
you talking right now?
Because it's Bella
Who
Thorne.
the fuck is that?
What
Bitch,
is
I'm
a Bella
Thorne? Bitch, I'm Bella Thorne. It's her new song.
Bitch? I'm Bella Thorne is the name of the song.
Yeah.
She's an actress that really is not that good, but for some reason has amassed a lot of wide popularity because of her
I'm
face.
in love with her.
Yeah, because of her face.
When I was younger, I used to think Zoe Deschanel was really hot, and now I would love to cut her fucking head.
At least into the mic. Into the mic.
Damn.
I want to cut off Zoe Deschanel's head.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
What?
So-
I could play you a sample of the song.
No, we
No.
don't want that. We're going to record. What are you looking?
Play me a sample of these chesticles.
She looks like.
She gave into fame, and she.
I hope
Yes.
her whole family dies.
Now she's
All right.
a
Well,
bitch.
her dad's already dead.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that her father's dead. Find
Into
out
the
where
mic.
he's buried. I will go piss on his grave right now.
No,
Holy shit.
I respect the Thorne family.
Oscar, edit that out.
No.
No, I want everyone to know I will piss on Bella Thorne's dead father's grave.
No,
You don't have to say that. Grave is fine.
These do not reflect the opinions of the Supernatural Occurrence.
No,
Studies
they do.
podcast.
That's our policy now. That's our fucking
bitch, I'm
tagline.
Bella Thorne. Bitch, I'm
Supernatural
Bella Thorne.
Occurrence Studies podcast. Piss on Bella
I would rather
Thorne's
you burp.
father's grave.
Lexi, that's
Yeah?
enough. You're right.
No.
You gotta choose one.
Oh, God.
Ow.
PewDiePie. Okay.
Send,
The
send, them that vid-
Lexiisms are the greatest.
send them that video of that whole minute of her sound effects.
Oh.